All right. Back to a high water mark for the entire series. Maybe not the highest watermark, but it's definitely up there for people. Also, yeah, even the first day, two-part trial day. It's not playing around. Is time. Hey, Katie. February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me. Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secrets at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. But she looks so cute when she's embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not, and in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? But she's not even evil? Look, clearly, Dahlia, we were already told that Iris was there since she was a child. But, what is a child, right? If you found, well, whatever. I can't go into this too long. I know how the actual gimmick of this is. Ugh, I don't think freaking Larry is even the first witness. Did I read that? I don't remember now. Went too much a tangent. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? What is a child with a miserable pile of secrets? Usually they're parents' secrets, but yeah. No. No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donin, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this, if your true identity is revealed? Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. God, this case is such a weird mix of, here is Iris being maximum cutie patootie, and she and Phoenix clearly have got something going on. But also, to balance this out, Edgeworth has got to try as hard as he can to be like, my friend, with as many quotation marks as you want around that, Phoenix. February 9th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Oh, I guess, we don't need this coffee count, do we? Because we know Godot's not going to be here. So let's get rid of that. I feel, that feels lonely down there. What else are we going to do? February 9th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 7. We don't even have a prosecutor. We are now sadly waiting for Godot. Well, court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. but I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair could only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. God, I miss you, old judge. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. Oh man, why did people love this case so much? It's so easy. I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds a defendant. Ah, she hits us with both of them too. Perfect. The prosecution stands ready. Okay. Now, a couple things. One, that was an objection. So let us update this. Part of me is tempted to leave the whip counter at its number from last time and go from there. But I feel like it would be disingenuous, sadly, to do that when I've reset the objection counter each time. I guess we could make an argument that the whip counter is more unique to her, but if that was the case, I should have secretly had it also in an investigation playthrough. But so, unfortunately, it was at 0, and then she brought it back. She at least introduced herself on the board. Franziska would have it no other way. And you were? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma? Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma. That's it all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. Well, I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. I have never looked that much like an infant swaddled in clothes. Oh, Miss von Karma, do you have anything to say? I arrived late, the clown shoe shenanigans. Hey, Captain. I know, right? Look at this. I had to retire the coffee counter for a second because Godot's not even here. The whip counter is back. There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure once before in this courtroom. Back. I told you there is no such weakling. Well, what is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. But bailiff, remove that whip at... Oh, man. You know what? As annoying as this judge can be, he's actually making an attempt for it. Unfortunately, as we all know, bailiffs are also susceptible to whip damage. As is Edgeworth? I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution gonna wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix right here today, but looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Guys, I'm not sure this courtroom, like this one single room, can contain this much energy. Like, there's a reason why Phoenix is not cocky 90% of the time. It's because he's a buffoon. But also it's because the structural integrity of the building can only hold so much at any given time. Edgeworth versus Franziska, though. Ooh. Ooh, wow. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Up to 3. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case, with as little whipping as possible. The mother victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise O'Donnell. Her body was found in the Hasekura temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well, the court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Courtyard where Elise O'Donnell was murdered. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. Alright, let's look at this. Courtyard where Elise O'Donnell was murdered. Alright. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. I missed the regular judge. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Oh, I forgot bikini was short. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. But hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. Okay. That was a good little joke there. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Oh, bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Asakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. I wonder if it is also Bikini. Or if they make... Because it's so hard when you see something like this. Because, like, my mind's going to go to the Briefs family in Dragon Ball, right? Bulma, Bra, etc., etc. I'm like, maybe it was just Bikini, or was it some other piece? And they're like, Bikini is maybe a little bit more explainable? Oh well. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. What? The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? I mean, if you want to just leave, Judge, honestly, bring in the other judge. No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. Wah-ha-ha, wah-ha-ha-ha. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can so hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? Fucking... This Canadian judge is going to be the death of me. Actually, it's going to be Bikini, because I don't know why I gave her this voice. But, like... I'm so used to the judge being a thing I can anchor myself to. I don't have that. I don't even have Phoenix. Like, at least Edgeworth is easy, but... The night of the murder. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently.
So, I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Asakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it.
So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple?
Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple.
That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with this God damn it. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall in the first hurdle. Now are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Oh man, the night of the murder. At least Franziska's not telling us we can't press like crazy.
That night I was helping Acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but...
What is this inner temple?
Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right?
God damn it, Judge, can you shut the... Okay, fine. We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam.
In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training.
And how exactly do you help with this process?
It is all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a non-supervisor.
Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place?
Well, as you can see, my back legs have acted up violently.
Violently?
That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training.
Oh, God. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again?
That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. So, I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple.
You left Iris to help? With what?
What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper.
Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple?
Well, the job is simply to watch over the Acolyte so that they don't pass away.
Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct?
Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. There's no bath in the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak.
So you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath?
My back is to blame for everything. It's a do-or-be-done-in kind of world, after all.
How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking?
My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Ah, this is where you have to watch the young ones.
What are you going on about? I wasn't... Gah! Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick-me sign stuck to the defense's bench? I know, Edgeworth. It's unfair, isn't it? How does it feel? Although, let's be clear. Bikini is definitely barking up the wrong tree. Edgeworth had no idea what she was talking about. Imagine a woman naked. Who would want to do that?
Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it.
The crime took place in the courtyard, correct?
When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard.
That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There's indeed only one problem with this testimony. I can clearly point out what it is, that I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Ooh, it's Phoenix Wright. Hey, Zero. Alright, let me remind myself of the evidence I'm working with. We have the crime scene photo. We have the autopsy report. I'll split from 7 back. Body fell 10 feet after death. No one was in her room until the murder was discovered. I feel like Iris's testimony, but oh, that's fine. Photo of Elise, am I wrong with that? Magic model. We have the occult magazine thing, which doesn't matter as much. Weather data. Snow, lightning, lightning strike plan, okay. Prosecutor temple map. That's not going to be helpful here. So Tisha, there's something I must talk to you about. I'll make sure you come unless you want your secret to be exposed. God damn it, Larry, every time. Iris's hood, affects some evil spirits. Hanging scroll shows Misty Faye master the crane technique. We have never seen this woman before or again. She's a apparent murder weapon, has been blood and fingerprints on it. Kate Patty Stone when she was alive, has her fingerprints on it. See from Wright, something about reading people's hearts, what utter nonsense. Attorney's badge. So, back late and return off the ball. I'll just have to finish this one sitting back. That's when I saw it. Is it just to present Iris's testimony here? That doesn't seem right. But I guess I have to use it at some point, right? I mean, I don't have to. That's the only thing I can see wrong with this. I feel like Franziska is going to be immediately like, Iris is just lying. But, you know, maybe we'll go from here. Alright. Let's move this up to 208. Sometimes it is as simple as it seems. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all.
Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all.
No, she said that?
A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? I mean, yeah, who could have seen this coming from the prosecution? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. Wow. Phoenix, why don't you ever respond to Edgeworth this way? The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi.
But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie.
She does indeed have honest eyes. What? All people lie. That is my belief. The whip counter. Man, see, Franziska's not afraid to use her whip, unlike Godot, who is really a pussy about getting new cups of coffee. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie, which means we must call your memory into question.
Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me and yet you want to play that game, do you?
Well, that isn't exactly what I...
My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter.
Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony. Let us return to the cross-examination. Okay. Okay, I see.
Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner.
Are you sure that you're not making a mistake?
You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing at her place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake, thinking I made a mistake.
An excellent finish there, witness. Still, I have to wonder. Do we have to wonder? Exactly as she said, but what about this hood that she gave to Phoenix? Oh, bam. You know, I remember getting really stuck on this case when I was a baby playing for the first time, but I'm pretty sure that happens later on during something Larry does. But we'll see. If not wonder, then ponder or contemplate, perhaps. Witness, let's get one thing straight, which I'm not really familiar with personally, but I've heard things about it. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct?
Well, of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute.
Oh, hold it right there. Why do you have that? Man, Godot's not like an awful prosecutor, but I feel like you can feel with Franziska, like, she has more of a drive to win than Godot has. Even though Godot doesn't like Phoenix, for reasons we'll get to. Although I think that's a second trial day kind of thing. He just doesn't fight quite the same way as definitely Edgeworth and somewhat Franziska do. That's the question of the day. Now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? Have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung? What? His number one passion is called fate lowering his number two. This is probably true. He should have just been a barista, really. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood.
Well.
It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court. Would that witness that response? Raw. Sister, this hood, you have spare ones around the temple, don't you?
Spare?
Okay, well, let me do the whip before I forget. Man.
Spares. Well, I do tend to make too many of them.
This has better hobby job bounds. Uses her whip to do her job. I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh?
Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned.
Then this is quite strange. Whoa. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. God damn it, Franziska. Stop being somewhat competent at your job. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma. You won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness? While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this.
Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Identifiable reptile. Oh, I actually don't mind that as a name, but you are a bot. Go away. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. After my bath.
I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was... oh, Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of a window.
Oh, you saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in court. That... What? Then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge... His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine. Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? It's kind of a fun gimmick when a character calls everyone by their full name, or some kind of epithet kind of thing. Like, obviously you can't do it with everyone, but it's nice sometimes when it pops up. After my bath.
I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple.
How far is it from your room to the inner temple?
Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Asakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge.
Still, you never made it back there that night, did you?
That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and...
You say you heard a noise?
Thump! Just like that.
That could only be the sound of the victim falling.
It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Just like that.
I like to point out she's saying thump, but then we hear... So she must be like hitting the witness stand or something.
Thump! Just like that.
But then, could this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground?
I never thought of that. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. The next one to laugh gets a whipping.
Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and...
Damn, Franziska, girl, you're almost at double digits already. It's like she's trying to catch up to the objection counter before she has to leave.
Iris was, oh, Mystic Elise, and with that sort of all things.
This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant. But, some doubt remains in these claims.
Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to...
The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can.
Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time.
Please, don't keep us in suspense.
Her hood.
Her hood?
That's right. It's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood.
I was really hoping that is not what you would say just then.
I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right?
Ah. Huh? You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? I mean, it's not important. Why would we want it to say that she's not wearing a hood? What is the trick here? Until murder, what you have this right here. I don't think this is actually relevant to us, but I don't know. Do I have anything relevant to that? Would this game trick me with that? Is this one of the times when they're like, well, if you say it's relevant, it's just going to hurt your case? But also, like, not doing... I mean, I guess I'm a prosecutor. It wouldn't be weird for me to use a prosecutorial trick as a defense attorney. It's also possible that we'll get punished for trying to say it's not important. Let's save. Although I've got health to spare now. It's not a big deal. Let's try to back off. Not important. This line of questioning is only going to tear the wound open further. These statements are as useless as the investigations of a certain detective. There is no need to record them. Very well. Please continue with your testimony.
Mr. Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard.
The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor?
No. Asakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a 2-story building.
I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct?
Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room after all. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window.
What makes you so sure of all this?
It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that.
You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. It appears that the witness was not mistaken then.
Yep, I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
There's only 2 of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark. It doesn't feel like she is lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only 2 things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, my own abilities as a defense attorney. Well, unless any of these are... Okay, let's see. What's wrong? Math round 11, I thought I should return to the inner temple. Went back, I know some courier. Took a look in. We had so many map shenanigans in the 4th case. But I don't think that's the case here because this is all like in the temple. So it wouldn't make sense for that to be relevant here. The sword of all things, no sword's a murder weapon. It's in the corner room which faces out onto the courtyard. Must have occurred after she was pushed out of the window. Oh. After death. Interesting. So was that a trap to add this? Oh no, it's been so long. But this is something that literally contradicts with the evidence right now, so... Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway.
Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter.
However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report, and this time read the whole thing? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. Ah, so that's right. It says after death right here. Man, what if Franziska was like, I'm sorry, I have an updated autopsy report. But no. Unless she does. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Ah. Well, order. The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Donham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Whoa! No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. I don't know. Like, I appreciate they did keep, like, the essence of the incompetence of a judge, while making him somewhat different from the original one, but he just doesn't hit the same. However, if there was no blood in that room, then your claim is... I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. Oh, that's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. I didn't count those, right? Or did I count those? I didn't count the one earlier. See, this is where the curse of, like, these counters were having me that. I didn't count when she whipped the desk, did I? I feel like I didn't. I know we have had 2 of those at least. We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Order, order, order. I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I expect no less from Franziska von Kermer. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please remain standing on the crate.
Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood.
Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip.
Oh boy. Alright, alright.
What just... I'm not sure I want to read into that exchange. Edgeworth or bikini. Like, I think Franziska's offer was probably what Edgeworth thought, but at the same time. Further details.
When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Galeese. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mr. Gami was stabbing Mr. Galeese through the back.
It is all this heteronormative stuff. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Further details.
When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place.
At that time, was the victim bleeding?
Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood. Not then.
I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed?
Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Galeese.
Think carefully. This is very important.
It's Iris we are talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mr. Galeese's body.
It might not be conclusive, but his testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth.
I've never seen so much blood before.
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too.
When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further. We'll come back to this one. We'll go. I can't afford to make things look any worse for the defendant. I'll bide my time for now. Witness, please continue your testimony from after you witnessed the victim bleeding. I think that might be one we actually need to press, but we'll come back to it.
That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you?
Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct?
Well, I was unconscious.
How long were you out for?
I don't know. 10? Maybe 20 minutes? A young man with a very prickly-looking head woke me up. By stepping on me, actually.
I'm not sure I like that method of resuscitation.
Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of the sort. But I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you.
I shall have words with the offender personally. What did you see upon awakening?
And when I awoke, Mr. Gami was stabbing Mr. Elise through the back.
By Mystic Army, you are referring to the golden statue, correct?
Just stabbing someone with the Shichishito, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. But to then make Mystic Army hold the blade.
Truly a heinous. Wow. Truly a heinous, despicable crime. It is easy to despise something. Anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hot for you. Anyway, what is the problem? Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts.
That's true. So true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself...
There isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the Shichishito from the Ami statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I'll begin to find the truth. Well... let's press further and see what we get. This might be enough to trap, but I don't know what else I would need to do so. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you say you saw the victim bleeding.
Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw.
What did you see?
Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day.
Pulling the sword out?
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out.
Witness, you will add the statement to your testimony.
Oh, was that important?
More important than you can imagine.
I saw the instant in which the blade, plunged into the hilt, was smoothly drawn out.
Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out?
That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mr. Gami. Mystic Elise was on the ground, and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from that gaping wound. Ah!
It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding. Nothing out of place here. Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened. Alright, a smoothly drawn out. Yeah, that's really clean if it was plunged fully into the hilt. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like seeing things. But yeah, thank you for adding that part about the hilt, Sister Bikini. Very helpful. I'm glad that I'm not having a super hard time, although that second one earlier got me for a little while. But as I said, if I remember correctly, I think it's the next one where I would get very confused. The second part of the day, not this first part. Sister Bikini, you're a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
Well, what do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you.
What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? I mean, if you're real strong. No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose. I mean, look. This sentence right here is why she uses a whip. This is what Von Karma was built to appeal to. Your mileage may vary. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. This sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt. Well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the shichishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. 18, 19. I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more. This one is simple. This sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt. Why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No. Oh, 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 oh. Sorry, I nudged the tray with my mic. I hope that wasn't too bad. Might have sounded really bad there, rattling around. Order, order, order in my... Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Also, that was a whip there. She whipped him. Put that there. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You are proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but... having come this far, there can only be one answer. Oh, and that is? The weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shichishito. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon?
Well... it's because Mr. Kami was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shichishito was the murder weapon. Order, order, order. Whoa. So, maybe the Shichishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing at Miles Edgeworth. Whip cannon to 14. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes. Namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. Let's answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually.
What is it, sister?
I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of.
You what? Well then. Okay, Franziska. I need you to chill. 15, 16, 17. You can't artificially inflate the whip counter like that. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible. What else could this old woman have seen? Edgeworth. Yeah, she's only 48. Come on. Middle-aged woman. Oh, that's what's kind of sexist. Location of the weapon.
I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk the Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time.
Well, I'm not in the best of shape, but with my back and my age, you know.
Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. Snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. Tracks photo added to the court record taken that night from Main Gate to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. So, Main Gate to Dusky Bridge. Interesting. Taken that night from Main Gate to Dusky Bridge, okay. But I think we know... weather report. Snow, probably 10:50. Lightning, 7:11. I mean, I'm gonna assume at the moment it has to do with the fact that there's only one set of snowmobile tracks. Unless this person managed to drive back perfectly in their own little ruts they made, but that doesn't seem likely. But for now, let's press everything first.
I saw the murder at around 11 p.m.
You are sure about the time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all.
Why was that?
Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple.
Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister.
And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate.
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct?
Right, the one who trampled me.
It seems she is the type to hold a grudge.
There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge.
Phoenix Wright? He didn't even have his cell phone on him. He had forgotten it at home, apparently. But a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too.
Anyway, I was really scared. It was taking him a while to get back, so I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. And there, I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used.
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited.
That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls.
Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate.
So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? We'll come back to this later. Looks very likely that the snowmobile is related to this case. I can't help but think that Iris used it. But for what? I'd better hold off on this. For now. Well then, witness. How long does it take to reach the bridge by snowmobile?
It takes 15 minutes to walk the Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those.
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking.
Oh, there's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain?
I think that's why the question was asked in the first place.
It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back, but I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch. Just like that. Crunch.
Well, that's a very liquidy crunch, ew. Crunch?
I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it.
Yeah. That is one of those things I experienced this a little bit when I had my first car accident back in May, and I was immediately made to drive the next day. Um, I'm not sure if for driving it's as much a thing, but I've always heard, especially for riding, like motorcycles and the like, it's one of those things where, like, if something happens, it is really important, if you want to, that you do go back to it relatively quickly, because otherwise it does really stick. I'm not sure if that's like just a delayed Pavlovian response or something, or probably not. It's more something probably a little bit more psychological than that, because Pavlovian stuff usually has to happen multiple times. It's not a one-time thing. So I take a little sip there.
Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out.
Refresh your memory. How long were you knocked out for?
Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes.
It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using this snowball wheel. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth?
Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
While it would have been possible, time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma? Well, turning to me for help over the slightest thing? Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? We'll counter up to 18. What? She's as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. Okay, I think it was this one was the one that gave me... Yeah, I think so. Snowmobile, snowmobile. Everyone wants to know about the snowmobile. Press further. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time?
Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used.
Ah, I see. I never thought of that.
That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness.
I don't often go around touching hot engines.
Fuck, you make a good point.
However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it.
Snow?
Yes, for some reason, only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow.
There wasn't any snow on it. Curses. It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? Checks to indicate the snowmobile had been used. I mean, we have this here. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing, though. My thought here is that she said she saw it at 11, And we know that the snow had been done by then. So we should see 2 sets of tracks, right? But... Saw the motor at around 11 p.m. Yeah, she says it right here. Okay. Seeing that be reported went out to the main gate. There's a track. I think the snowmobile had been used. Maybe I walked into but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon in the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Alice could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. And from main gate to Dusky Bridge. I feel like... No, that is not it. Okay. Oh, am I barking up the wrong tree here? That statement contradicts the data provided by this piece of evidence. Oh, it does? How do you mean? Forgive me, Your Honor, but you just said it yourself that it does. Don't try to play mind games with me. Curses. It appears I have yet to adjust to being on this side of the courtroom. Okay, I'm gonna save real fast. Okay, can't be this or this. Takes 3 minutes walked in with less than 5 using one of those. I came back while I was knocked. I could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Okay. Maybe it's this one. Because she's saying it came back. It came back while I was knocked out. So this is the one? Because the tracks say from main gate to Dusky Bridge, but not from Dusky Bridge to the main gate. I don't know. I saved, right? I'm going to save again, because... Okay, I had just saved. Man, we might get to the point where after there's spam this. I'm pretty sure it's the tracks photo, though. This is the only thing that makes sense to me. Unless it's the weather report. But I don't think it's the weather... Like, I think the weather data is relevant, but I don't have the thing for it yet. Okay. Thank goodness. I was scared I was going to get stuck there for a little bit. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be 2 sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back.
Oh, you're right.
You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it? Why, see? While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? The idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? There is a contradiction. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. A game no, sorry. I haven't actually watched any game theory in a while. I will admit, ever since Pat retired from it. I don't know if it's held up or not. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Weather data. That snow stopped to 10:50. Bam. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime.
Like I said, it was around 11.
Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Order, order. Oh, very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. What? It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct? But no. You've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Yeah. A forecast data. All weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. God damn it, Franziska. It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. I thought the weather data was gonna click. Finish this. Let's see. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. As this is like the one time in any game in the entire franchise the judge is trying to be helpful. Please let him. That is a good point though, Dill. This is like the first time. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it has already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Okay. That will not show it. Right. The dead body doesn't have any snow in it. Okay. Probably, you know what? This is probably one of those ones where you could just present this probably, but because I did the weather data, they had this whole little... You know what? I don't entirely mind that. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon. Then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. Order. Just what are you? Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used a snowmobile to leave Hasakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hasakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained.
Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me.
What does, sister?
There is only one key for the snowmobile.
Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder.
Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple.
But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance.
The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hasakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
That sounds right.
But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hasakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge.
You must have just failed to see it, sister.
Maybe, but when I made it back to Hasakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too.
But that isn't possible. Okay. Order in the court. What does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hasakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness.
Yes, I have nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out, walking perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night?
I don't think think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do.
That's a shame. Hold on. An idiot, she says. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being? This individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? As always, if something smells, it's probably the Butz. Oh, this guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deladuc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butz, disciple of the victim, Elise Stoneham. Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Larry is here, that means it's bedtime. Well, okay, good night, Katie. It's not a bad call. Flee from Larry Stoneham. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you, and we are all going to regret it. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. So, I don't know if they planned it this way, but note that we've had this weird mismatch with the most obnoxious witnesses, right? Where in the second game, we got a lot of old bag. And you may notice, she didn't happen. We got her twice, and then Larry, we got him twice in this game. What this also means, though, is poor Franziska is about to meet the Butz. February 9th, 11:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say. Actually, you know what? We have some music now, and you can look at... You know, I will say, Iris is very cute, and she seems very wholesome. She does still have the weird eye thing Dahlia does. Where it has that, like, line shading behind it. Oh, creepy. I don't know. Anyways. I think we might be able to... I'm not sure. This second part might go long. It might not. Should I wrap up here? No, I don't want to wrap up here. But I'm going to take a break here. Just to, like, rest my voice for a couple minutes. Take a couple sips of tea and all that. I'll be back in a little bit. In the meantime, you can look longingly at Iris. Alright. Hopefully, with that, I'm going to be recovered enough for Larry's shenanigans to come. It's funny, if I recall correctly, this is going to touch on a motif that comes up in a couple other cases too. And I think particularly, like, might happen with Larry a fair bit. We'll see.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say.
Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene.
All right. I'll help you any way I can.
First, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying.
Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room, in Hazakura Temple.
Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile?
There is only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me.
So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth.
Aw, shit. 5 psycholocks. Iris!
I can't tell you about that yet.
Yet?
Not until her safety is confirmed.
Her?
The safety of the Acolyte.
The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Okay. It is funny how, with this case, as I'm playing it, I'm remembering some of its twists and turns. Like, weirdly enough, I know it's coming with Larry. That part, I'm pretty sure I was stuck on for quite a while the first time I played it, so I wasn't really going to forget that part. But some of the other twists and turns, maybe faded a little bit into the background for me. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donim?
No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life.
As I thought, no psycholocks. Very well. It is my job to get to the truth. Maya in danger in an Ace Attorney game? I know, right? In fairness, it's not... Well... No, that's not true. Because she was kidnapped in the second game. Usually, it's not physical danger. Usually, well, technically, she's always been, when she's accused of crimes, it's almost always murder, which has the death penalty. So I guess in a sense, it always is danger in that sense. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. February 9th, 11:36 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Kerma, Where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Oh, fuck me. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that his intention was to capture you. Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. This girl is accused of a felony as often as she sneezes. Have we seen Maya sneeze? I think there might have been... Well, no, because I know we saw Phoenix sneeze a ton when he was a baby. And by baby, I mean when he was a college student in the first case with Mia. Have we seen Maya sneeze? I think we've at least seen her go like a chew once or twice. Because a lot of times they like to have them do that when it's cold. Laurice Donin, I hope you're ready. Get in here. The girl is accused of a felony more often than she sneezes. It would seem that Whip is going to see plenty more use today. Ouch. Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Oh man. I forgot about... You know, Larry might really get this whip counter going. Hey, I was just artistically rendering. Ouch. You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to handle your subpoena, correct? I don't even know if I heard it though. Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist trading out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know. I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work, I hope. That's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand this mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all of your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red. Or, to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ouch. Ouch. 6. Ouch. Okay, I think that was 6. I think I counted 6 there. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You know what? Maybe the whip counter is going to be more competitive than I thought it was. Stop your pathetic blabbing and testify like a man. I counted not enough. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. He could use more. Yeah. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now. This is too much for me. He could use more, though. Witness testimony. What I saw. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. Walked through the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I edgy? Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody. Nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation, or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination. With no touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time. What I saw. God damn it, Larry. What is even the... Oh man, look at the stars that night. I mean, I guess we can do the weather report here. On the bridge a number of times, but didn't see a snowmobile. Didn't see anyone at the bridge at night either. Seems that he's going to claim to have nothing to do with this to the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. I'm sorry, Edgeworth. This is not how I play these games. I like to see the dialogue. When I'm playing these games on my own, I do this as well. Like, this is not like a choice I make for the stream, for content. Which it is. Not that it matters for content, because I'm not really... I don't really do that. But this is also how I play these games, because... I mean, it's a visual novel. The game is what you're reading, so I want to get... if not all of the stuff they write, at least the majority of it. The vast majority of it. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. You paid for the Who novel, you're getting the whole novel. I gotcha, yeah. That makes more sense. I was trying to think if there was like some kind of pun there I wasn't catching up on, but it just meant to be whole choice. And... Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? This one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse. So, fitness? Any idea as to where these contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may stay my whip. Okay, give me a minute. Well, it was snowing that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. That rundown shack is hardly a lodge, is it? And even if the stars could be seen, isn't like I was there to look at them, right? See, you can do it if you try. Ouch. There is only one issue here. That you saw at Dusky Bridge. You know, the fact that she asked Larry to explain what he did and he could do it just makes it worse. Because that reveals that he actually knows a little bit about what he's doing. I walked to the bridge a number of times. A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes. Which means you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night? You bet. Beloved is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Oh, love, you say? It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack, using this blackmail letter. Blackmail? No. That was simply a product of overflowing love. Oh, this is gonna be... Okay, wait a second. You huffy a puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining voice of a witness. So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. God, okay, no, I wasn't ready for this. to huffy, puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining goose of a witness, eh? Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. I didn't see his snowmobile. Larry, you really didn't see it? Hey, no need to hit your desk. I can hear you. I didn't see it. I didn't see his snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Oh, has he been saying it wrong there? Was I reading correctly? Snowmobile? If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up. What is this? I don't know. Don't ask me. Seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm going to strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans. You know, Phoenix got a game, Miles got a game. Larry needs a game. Nice Attorney WarioWare game where Larry fails to do one job after another. 1. I'm starved enough for new content, I would settle for that. And 2, that could work pretty decently. And here's the thing. It would be not just Larry, right? Like, either as like a new game plus thing, or maybe like Larry would be the first chapter, and then you would have a chapter that would be Maggie. Which, Maggie isn't incompetent like Larry. She just has really bad luck. And maybe like the final one would be Gumshoe. And instead of jobs, it's like an investigating cases thing. And that's just, once you do that, it gives you the... I mean, it won't be Gumshoe because they wouldn't show us them anyways. Actually, we don't know what Larry looks like after the time skip too. I assume he's still going to be a bum. But who knows? Maybe when Hobo Wright happened and Phoenix's star fell, Larry rose like a phoenix. Gumshoe got a game? I don't think I know what you're talking about here. I know he's been obliquely mentioned in, I think, 5 in the DLC case and in 6. But I assume you mean something else besides that. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. Unless we count him in the Edgeworth game. You didn't meet anyone? That's right, because I've got nothing to do with this. Was a mobile-only barely bones joke thing? Ugh, God. That wouldn't surprise me. Okay. This might have happened early into last week, but I'm still kind of reeling from the fact that they had that Fire Emblem Shadows game. Although apparently from what I've heard, like, at the higher end of the game, like once you get past the intro, there's actually something to it. But that's just such not a Fire Emblem game. But then I saw someone point out too, like, hey, this can let them do dark furry versions of the characters, and it's like, yeah, you know what? Plus, Fire Emblem Heroes is just a gacha game anyways. There can be some diversity. It just it's not really Fire Emblem. That's right, because I've got nothing to do with this. Now I'm just here to buy some Viridian paint, okay? Come on, I expect to see those Crimson Lake faces. Now. It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Indeed. It seems that he's going to claim to have nothing... Okay, yeah. Okay, up stars at night. Number... See, snowmobile. So... number... You know, the funny thing is... It's one of those ones... A lot of times when the game gets me, it's actually a profile thing. And of course, we shouldn't have to do this. By pressing it, we already know that this is a bullshit testimony anyways. Because the Gumshoe game was, I suppose you saw 4 Gumshoe as a subordinate. Oh, isn't that cursed? The idea of being a subordinate beneath Gumshoe. Well, yeah, I think the fact is we're supposed to... Because early on to when we became Edgeworth, he mentioned the fact that Phoenix brought him up to speed on everything. Which is how we know that... Dude, Larry, you met Phoenix there for sure. I wonder if there's like... It feels like there's like 7 different ways you should be able to get a contradiction out of that. Larry Butz. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry. But, having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? It certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. You're totally pitting this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butz. That's right, me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change. See, I feel like this judge also occasionally has good advice. Like, he really is only like 5% more competent than the other judge. But, you know, that happens sometimes. But, what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue, is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. I'll ask again, then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? What I saw, part 2. God damn it, Larry, every time with you. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been about 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding, then a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me. After a 3-day stint chasing a girl, it totally burnt out. Like, almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. I never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky. Okay, I'll take the moment. It's actually really cute that when he mentioned Phoenix falling, Amelia Von Karma was like, what? And then it's like, Edgeworth is like, no, he's fine. And she's like, oh, okay. Now, Mr. Ed. Oh, God. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination. Now, admittedly, Franziska is Tsun to the bone, so she would only say it's because she would hate for Phoenix to die before she's won a case against them. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been about 10:30. What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half? Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess. You gross Larry, don't do that outdoors in the cold waiting for a lady. Excited? Dare I even ask? I said the meeting time is 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait. And I thought she might come early, too. Like I always do. Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end. As they always do. Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they? Shut up. Don't go picking my fond memories apart. Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so, I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. This light was, of course, lightning. Like, kapow! Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. A big bada boom. Oh, God. Or a little like that? That's more like a punch from Miranda. Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge? Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. Seeing that, what did you do? What do you think? I was burning up as well, from the fire in my heart. And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge? Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so, I don't know, changed my mind. Well, I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at first, Witness. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? Lightning fell, and then the bridge caught on fire. Maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. Okay. I did not expect Larry's voice to kind of fight me a little bit there. How far is the small shack you were in from the bridge? Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk. And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info? Right away, why didn't you call anyone? Why did you go to the bridge? Interesting. I feel like why didn't you go to the bridge might be it, but why didn't you call anyone maybe? Or not right away? We'll come back to this. I don't think we can expect any more relevant information. Probably best to turn to other leads. A witness, please continue your testimony. That's when I ran into Nick. How did Phoenix Wright look when you met him? Also, wow, I don't know if that got picked up at all. Oh man, it's not worth eating a snack this late though. He looked like a beaten up mule. He was dead tired. I mean, he'd run all the way from Hazakura Temple. He simply stood, staring at me, breathing hard for a moment.
How far is it to Hazakura Temple from the bridge?
On his legs? A 15-minute run, I'd say? Damn. Phoenix really booked it, too. And that's when the murder was reported. That's right. And then he took a fall from the bridge. He told me about the burning bridge yesterday. But there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth. Okay. Okay. Why didn't you call anyone? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone. There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then, that's why you didn't? Yeah, okay. A reason? My reason? It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone. I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge, and Nick showed up less than a minute later. You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright. Yeah? I thought I'd better tell someone about this, but then Nick came up yelling about murder. It totally made me forget about the bridge. The fire was pretty much out by then anyway. What's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease. It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct? Yeah, that's pretty much it, more or less. He told me about the burning bridge yesterday. There's still something that doesn't quite fit. Is it... It's finished, it's fully found the mail, maybe she dropped it. Third Temple. This says 10:45. Is it time for the weather data? Where he's lied? Tuffy. Courtyard, we know the snowing, it stopped by then. Larry. I feel like, yeah, because we know when the lightning happened, there was a break. Look, the weather data was secretly not good evidence earlier. It's gotta be here for this one, though, right? Okay. Damn, Edgeworth. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. Actually, that's pretty cool when I stop and think about it. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. Huh. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Oh, terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah. Well, it wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, The lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there at around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There is no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Excuse me, I have an objection? You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry, it's Loris Donim. It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Franziska von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery, for there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you to just stop... My bad. I suggest you to stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just got brutally woken up by toilet splashback. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Pinch me. Order. Ah. So, there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there's a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Oh, yes, witness. Why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burned out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. Well, that's what it sounds like. But this is Larry we are talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. I don't know about that, Edgeworth. I think if there are any beings capable of being that stupid, it is Larry. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy? I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought. You've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this time every cow. Then say it. Some men aren't looking for anything logical like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reason, or negotiate with. Some men just want to watch the bridge burn. Could I do that? Alfred Batman Begins. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I could do that. I don't think I would do it justice, though. Some men just want to watch the bridge burn. Larry wouldn't want to set it on fire, mind you, but he would definitely want to watch it burn.
Then say it.
Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? The missing 15 minutes.
I'm a donym. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out and then he came running up.
I suppose artists can be strange folk.
That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it.
Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts?
Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains.
And what would that be?
This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him.
You'll regret this, Edgy. He's not wrong.
I'm a donym. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing?
Tell us, Larry.
My name is Louise. Get it right. Mistakes like that would keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am.
Just who exactly are you?
I'm Louise Donym, apprentice extraordinaire.
I know I get it from other things too, but a part of me is like, as a part of a core memory, did I draw a little bit on Larry Butz when I had Doman come up with Mondo Cool? I don't think that's the case, but there's like 1% of me that fears the dark depths of my soul. That's what he calls himself in any case. Then you are an artist?
Of course, I am an artist, the real thing.
Yet again, that's what he calls himself.
Names mean nothing? There is only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing?
That is a very big issue indeed.
Sketching. In front of the bridge, I was whipped up into a frenzy of art.
Sketching? The burning bridge?
The burning bridge and everything that came with it.
What came with it? Oh, is this the one? Did I do this a little bit too soon?
You want to hear this from my lips? Do you, Edgy? Yeah. You'll regret this. This sketch of mine is good.
Enough?
Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth.
What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there.
I want to get the other dialogue. I have a feeling this is probably gonna... I don't know. Is it gonna lock us into it right away? Let's leave it alone for now. We'll come back to it. It's gonna give us an extra webcam, but fine.
I cannot recommend looking at this sketch. His works of art are a force of nature, best measured on the Richter scale. That's right. They'll shake your heart to pieces.
This courtroom has yet to meet earthquake standards. I think we'd better pass. In which case, let us turn to other leads.
The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out and then he came running up.
So I'm gonna press this one after I do 4. Because it might also bring up the sketch. You forgot the passage of time to that extent, did you?
Well, once I get caught up in something, I tend to forget everything else.
That's true. He's always been that way. I guess he's not lying about that, at least. Phoenix Wright appeared on the scene after 11:15. If he was drawing until then, that dispels all doubts.
Aside from doubts of his humanity, eh?
There's a big clue waiting for me in this cross-examination. His testimony does nothing less than mock the court, but I am sure that there is a vital kernel of truth hidden in it somewhere. The burning bridge moved you that much, did it? I find that hard to believe.
You moron, Edgy. You don't understand me at all. If I see an abandoned cat, I find myself passing by it with tears in my eyes. I am a man overflowing with irresponsible kindness. And I use my irresponsible kindness to fill the pages of my notebook.
An artist using a notebook? It's so pathetic. It makes me want to cry myself. Ooh, that was 2 of those? Okay. I command you to go buy at least a proper sketch pad.
What has that got to do with anything?
Oh, I'm not sure if I care for an artist using a notebook for sketching. Proceed, witness. 38, 39. Alright, it was actually only this one. Unfortunately, I think we're getting an extra whip out of this, but... yeah, okay. Is everyone ready? This is maybe the most pivotal thing Larry Butz has done. In fact, I think that actually you dig into this more on the second day of the trial. So this is but a prelude of the chaos to come, I think. I might be misremembering. Look at the sketch.
Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch. Please? Well, well. Even I couldn't have imagined it'd turn out like this.
Imagined what?
That Louise Donim's debut would take place here. Today. Like this.
Ouch. Show it now. I should have done that in the reason of this.
Okay, but still yourselves. This is the world of Louise Donim.
Ah. Well, so this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames. I really did.
Yes, I'm sure you did. This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry.
What?
The burning bridge is fine. But what is that unfortunate looking figure?
Haha, you spotted that. I thought you might.
however much I might want to ignore it, I can't.
It's Iris, of course, Iris. I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for her future, you know. What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that?
Larry, please, answer this next question honestly.
Okay.
Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames?
Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist. A real artist.
Ah, you? Hi. That girl. Oh, God. That's a great sequence for when you're playing it. But, you know, really hard if you don't have, like... Obviously, a good voice actor could have nailed that scene, but me... Hi, the girl. She's really high up in this picture. What? What was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. 42. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What? Me? This witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination, by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what did you think of my debut piece? Get that thing away from me. Larry's sketch added to the court record. A horrible sketch of what he saw the night of the crime. Now, hurry up and cross-examine him. I mean, honestly, this isn't awful. Plus all different colors and everything. This girl is on fire, which, you know, is something. Wow, okay. I saw Iris flying. Her white hood was fluttering. Is that? Yeah, I guess that is supposed to look like her hood. Okay. Just where did you see this sight from? Hey, no need to shout. I was lying in bed in that rundown shack. The crack of the lightning bolt made me realize that the bridge was burning. I just watched it for a while from there, thinking how nicely it was burning. Then after about 5 minutes, I saw it. The defendant flying? That's right. That's when I decided to go to the bridge. I see. That all makes sense. Aside from the sketch itself. Yes. This sketch doesn't make any sense. I just need to convince the artist that his work is ludicrous. Alright, well, I'm sorry to tell you, Larry, but that thing about the hood, thank you for saying it. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible.
I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole dollar that it's the truth.
If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain.
What might that be?
That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris.
What? What do you mean? I don't understand. Whoa.
A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool.
I was going to mention we were on 42. We were on the answer to everything, but off it now already.
How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct?
Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris. And Iris is my darling hood. Whoa.
It seems there are bigger fools in the world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight.
What are you talking about?
I think you understand what I mean just fine.
Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood?
What?
Edgy. What's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick. You dog.
Larry, I need you to, as the kids say, focus the fuck up, please.
I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded straight into the garbage.
What is it now, Fitness?
It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to completely stupefy you.
What?
What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence.
Definitive evidence?
Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Loris Adonim, shall prove it.
We can just not listen to him. I didn't expect to ask this again,
but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in the sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain.
You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me.
proof that Iris flew.
When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night.
A crystal sphere?
This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers.
That sphere, where did you find it?
Let me see. Around here somewhere? Looks about right.
and it was half buried in the snow.
It had pretty much stopped snowing by then, but there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge.
The court accepts his crystal sphere.
That's mine, okay? I want it back afterward.
There's something on it. Oh my. It's blood.
What? Blood? Crystal sphere added to the court record. Found half covered in snow near Dusky Bridge the night of the crime. Has blood on it. God damn it, Larry. It had blood on it,
You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's going to push me around anymore.
Why didn't you want to be called Laurice Donim only a few minutes ago? My.
When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone.
So, you went to the burning bridge?
That's right, to meet Iris. She actually flew to get to me. The least I could do was meet her halfway.
But the defendant was not at the bridge when you got there, you said?
I guess she went back to Hazakura Temple. She's a girl after all. She must have wanted to look her best.
It must be lovely to live in the fantasy land of Larry's mind.
Actually, it's so depressing that I can't even work up the energy to point. So, what did you do next?
I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her.
So you searched all over for her?
She was flying pretty high, you know. I thought maybe she slipped on her landing and got hurt. Hey, it was more than possible. Also, when I headed out to the shack the first time, I was snacking on a banana. I was pretty sure I threw the peel away somewhere around there, so you know.
Can one guy really be this stupid? So, did you find any signs of her so-called landing?
I don't really remember. I kept on falling over myself. I kind of lost it for a while there.
You fell over yourself?
Yeah, the snow was deep. There was even a banana peel out there.
Yup. They're stupid. Then there's Larry Butz.
The short of it is that you didn't find any signs of her landing, correct? And what happened next?
That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow.
Half buried?
It was sitting in the snow with a little gathered on top of it. It was very hard to spot, actually. I mean, it was dark out, too.
Well, I'm impressed. You did well to find it.
No matter what you may think when you look at me, I'm a pro, a genius security guard. I used the penlight eye I borrowed from my company to help in my search. And it sparkled really brightly, as if it was saying, "Here I am," to me.
It does indeed look very much like the crystal sphere on Iris's hood. But need I remind you that she was not wearing her hood that night?
I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood.
Each nun is assigned their own hood, and they are assigned only one.
I don't know anything about that, okay? And Iris is special, alright, dude? Even if she did steal a spare hood, I'll forgive her.
This is getting us nowhere. Our destination for the day, it seems.
However, this crystal sphere was found near the bridge. That is a fact. If it didn't come from a hood, where could it have come from?
That is the question I aim to answer.
After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night.
Let me confirm this one last time, Larry. The reasons you thought that this was Iris are the hood and this crystal sphere, correct?
That's right. My gut is never wrong. I bet that old bikini the next morning, the crystal sphere was still there, safe and sound.
Indeed. She was wearing it in this very room earlier today.
This case isn't going to end without a fight. Exposing the obvious contradictions in this testimony will be easy, but I fear that all that awaits us are further mysteries.
So, I feel like the question is, what piece of evidence do we do this for, right? Because we have her staff, which is empty. And we have the picture he took that has her staff with the crystal on it. I imagine this is probably going to be one where multiple pieces of evidence work. I'm just going to do the victim stat. Oh, you know what? I'm going to save, actually. Just in case, but I think this is going to be fine. I think I was thinking of the second day being heard, because this first one actually it had a couple moments, but it didn't seem too bad. Larry. That night, there was someone. Someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was?
Who? Who was this stupid idiot?
Miss Elise Donim, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? I have a photo of her here. Okay, I guess we probably could have presented this too then. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey, that's my photograph. Give it back. Ouch. A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. I mean, not just like it. They look nothing alike. Thank you, Edgeworth. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime. Ah, the crystal sphere. It's gone. What? 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 Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donim. A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. You can't do that. I saw it with my own two eyes. And this crystal sphere. This is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it is very Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donim was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all. Miss Franziska von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case. That crystal sphere, it was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder, there is blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent, which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? No way! All joking aside, So even Franziska's like, it can't be Larry Butz.
Just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Donim left Hasakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to this case, then this witness you have called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Before, is it because it has the blood on it? We have this. I mean, her body's left here, but H is saying it was thrown away. By Feltenvi after death. Testimony. Photo of Elise. Cult magazine. Weather data. It was dropped before the murder took place. I mean, we have the snow that was on there. Sakura Temple. If it's here, that's fine for that. On the main hall, maybe she dropped it. It couldn't be that. It's on Iris's hood. I like how we have this hanging scroll that we've not had anything for, but that's fine. Weapon. She was alive. Has her fingerprints on it. Is there anything in the profiles? Oh, I didn't even realize to go over this. Franziska von Karma, age 19. My mentor, Manfred von Karma's daughter. Born and raised in Germany. Prosecutor at 13. I mean, I got... Maybe Edgeworth will give me something to lead me onto it, because I'm a little bit stumped right now. I'm probably just... It's a little bit late. We're near the end, though. Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm going to save because it's probably going to be worth a lot of health. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Interesting. It's showing me the... It's showing that in the background. Has blood on it. We know her fingerprints. It's also only 2, so I expect this to be difficult. It's not this, is it? If it has blood on it, I don't know if it's... It has her fingerprints on it. There's blood and the suspect. Is it because... Oh no, this massacring technique. Iris's hood.
It's not that for sure, and it's not Note to Iris either, I don't think. Yeah. Hazakura Temple. Before the murder. Because we know the blood wasn't there, so that'd be okay. Weather report, lightning. That should be fine for that. It's not the occult magazine. I don't think anyways, to be fine. Probably not that. How's about 10 p.m. Those in the room until the murder was discovered. Loss of blood from stabbing back. Body fell. Could it be the autopsy report? We have the blood there from what was stuck in there, but we don't know how much blood she maybe did there. This isn't the background of this shot, though. I wonder if that means I need to select this and I point out something in it, but I don't know what it would be. Taking that night. It's not that, I don't think. Larry sketch. I mean, we know the time of this. I mean, I feel like it's giving me the answer in the back, so I'll just do the crime photo and then we'll see. This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? Well, that's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly. Oh, I'm so dumb. Of course, that's why it just wanted me to have evidence of why it was... Duh. Snowing. On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Order, order, order. On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What? What could that have been? This sphere, there is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. That's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. But that's the same thing. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed. Thus, there was no bleeding. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donim's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. Well, I don't have the snowmobile as evidence, so I'm going to assume it's a tracks photo right here. On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon. But it could also have been used to carry a body. Murder, 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 yeah. This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You're too late, Franziska von Kermer. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim, Elise Donim, really killed? Her body was moved, whatever for. And finally, just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. I mean, I can't really disagree with Franziska that much there with that statement, but sadly, Larry is going to be part of the key. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. Jesus Christ, Edgeworth. What a goddamn accurate insult for Larry Butz. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. But Edgy, thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It is just as I thought. Franziska von Kermer, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There was one reason, and one alone, for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, then pass it on to Wright. Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had Francie whipping me all to gouge. Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a shame, Francie. This is all your fault. Okay. Such a terrible witness. You are an affront to all the legal system stands for. Okay, I think that was 11. Also, I think Larry was getting into that at the end. Okay, let's go with 11. So 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Oh, I said 30 there. 60, 61, 62, 63. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. You know the amazing thing? Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I am counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this,
The rest is up to you, Wright.
Court is now adjourned. To be continued. So, she got 63 whips in there. And it was 163 before this. So if I hadn't reset her whip counter, she would be up to 226, which is pretty close to what the objections from just this game are. So she gave it a college try. 3-1 investigation. I mean, this, you gotta fight through this case. It's a lot. But it's, I mean, at the time, this was going to be the end. Obviously, Apollo Justice happens, but you can tell Apollo, like, there wasn't meant to be more Phoenix after this. And then the Edgeworth stuff happens, but that's, you know, Phoenix doesn't actually come up in those, really. I don't even think Edgeworth ever uses the name that. He just says, that man. But with that, that seems like a lovely place to end it for now. We actually got through both parts of the trial. Had to go a little bit late to do that. Mostly because I started a little bit late. But hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Next time, I think we'll actually return to being our spiky protagonist boy. Won't that be fun? Until then, good night, everyone. Until next time.